No, I don't think that would work. Eventually, the problem was solved when Lorna sat in the passenger seat with the neck of the base pressed up against her cheek, and Suzanne loaded 8 or 9 packs of toilet paper onto her lap in a tower which reached to the roof of the car. "Do you feel safe?" she asked anxiously as she began to drive along the almost empty roads leading towards the centre of Vienna. "Very," said Lorna. "They're like an airbag. If we crash into something, they'll probably save my life." "You don't look very comfortable. I'm so sorry." "Don't worry, I'm fine." After a moment or two, she said, "Look, it's kind of an obvious question, but why have you brought so much loo paper?" Suzanne glanced at her in surprise, as though the answer was self-evident. "I just decided to stock up. I mean, maybe I went overboard a bit, but still, you can't be too careful, can you?" She drove on, negotiating a set of traffic lights. But she could tell that Lorna didn't really understand her explanation. "Because of the virus, right?" she added, to leave no room for doubt. "You think it's that serious?" "Who knows? But yes, I think so. Have you seen the footage from Wuhan? And now the whole of Italy's been locked down." "Yes, I heard," Lorna said. "They're not going to do anything like that here, are they? I mean, there's no chance the gig tomorrow would be cancelled." "Oh no, I don't think so. It's already sold out, you know. It's not a huge venue, 200 or so, but that's pretty good for jazz these days. And in the morning a journalist wants to speak to you for a music website. So there's a lot of interest. Everything's going to run smoothly, don't worry." Lorna allowed the relief to show on her face. This tour was a huge thing for her. First time she and Mark had taken their live set out of the UK. The first time anyone had paid for them to play more than one gig at a time. Her first earnings from music in over a year. By day, she was one of 4 women working on the reception desk of a 15-storey office block in central Birmingham. Her colleagues had a vague idea that she played music in her spare time, but they would have been amazed to know that something like this was happening. That someone was paying for her to go to Austria and Germany, that she was being put up in hotels, that a journalist, for heaven's sake, even a journalist from a website, wanted to interview her. Lorna had been looking forward to the tour for weeks, living for it. It would break her heart if this weird little virus were to derail everyone's plans. Suzanne left her at the hotel and promised to come round in the morning, straight after breakfast. It was a budget place, some miles from the centre of town. The rooms were tiny, but Lorna was grateful just to be there. For half an hour or more she lay on her bed, thinking. She wondered whose idea it had been to equip such a small room with a strip light that couldn't be dimmed. She wondered why she had chosen to play an instrument that took up more space in the room than she did, and had almost got jammed in the lift. Above all, she wondered why anyone would react to the global spread of a virus by buying almost 200 rolls of toilet paper. Was this really people's darkest fear, that one day, because of a terrible economic crisis, or a crisis of public health, or the onset of a climate catastrophe, they might not be able to wipe their bottoms? She looked at her watch. 9:30. 8:30 in Birmingham. It would be a good time to call home. By home, she meant the UK. But she didn't plan to call her husband, Donny, who would be out with friends by now. Nor did she want to call her parents, who were on holiday, taking advantage of the unexpected and unwanted expansion of their leisure time now that Britain had finally left the EU, and all the British MEPs were out of a job. No, it was Gran who would be waiting to hear from her. Lorna had promised to Skype her as soon as she landed in Vienna. Gran, for whom every flight was a potential disaster, a plane crash waiting to happen, would be sitting at home in a state of low-level anxiety until Lorna called to say that she was back on terra firma. She sat up on the bed and flipped.